Pastor Nisan Stewart is the senior pastor of Greater Emmanuel Temple Church in Southern California. He's built a solid foundation in music, ministry, and community. The Grammy-nominated musician is best known as a top songwriter, producer, and music director, the house drummer for ABC's Dancing with the Stars. For Pastor Stewart, ministry and community live at the forefront of his heart. Would you please help me welcome my longtime friend, Pastor Nisan Stewart.
The man has been forever trying to get you here, but we finally did it. Finally did it. It's been on a road. It's been on finally. Nisan Stewart. He's here.
What's up, my friend?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I can't complain. I'm good, brother.
Man, it's great. So I know it's been crazy out there during the season, this COVID season, man.
Yeah.
What's going on? Has it affected you personally?
Yeah, man. So on a few things, as a pastor, it changed up how, I was servicing our community here at Greater Emmanuel Temple, because we weren't, streaming and going online and things was not at the top of my list as of yet. But we were able to dive in that and do good. But then in terms of work, television shows, everything kind of slowed down. Music, ain't no touring, ain't no traveling.
Mm-hmm.
But, which for me, doing the show Dancing with the Stars, luckily we weren't doing the spring season this year. We're only coming in the fall.
Right.
They were able to make some adjustments. But personally, it ain't bad. I get to spend more time with my family, man. And I think it's a kind of like I don't know what type of vacation I want to call it. It's a certain type of vacation which you got to sit. You got to sit and reassess, do things in new ways. That's the best way, not a vacation, but sit and do some new things in new ways. But I'm just glad I'm healthy and my family is healthy. But as a pastor dealing with individuals and trying to make sure they're safe and healthy, those are concerns. So it's really more work than ever.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So tell me about growing up in Englewood.
Man, let me tell you, Englewood is the best city. I'm sure I'm biased in saying that. Englewood is off the chain, one of the best cultures, I think, in America. I think it was amazing for me growing up, living less than about a mile from the Forum where the Los Angeles Lakers would play in those days before they moved to Staples Center.
Mm-hmm.
The culture was great. But we had our challenges. The gangbanging scene was heavy, or still is heavy in that area. But Englewood was laid back, man, just right off of Crenshaw, just enjoying it. And, many great friends who I'm still friends with to this day. The culture of artists that grew up in that area as well, it continues on now, even to artists like D Smoke, and that whole clan, that whole family that's killing it right now on the scene. But it was amazing just being that close to where the Lakers was cracking. So yeah, so that's my city. I rep it for life. I'm actually trying to move back, trying to find me. They're doing some new things with the new football stadium now in Englewood. So I'm trying to see about making the transition back. So we'll see how it goes. But Englewood is great, man.
Yeah. So let's talk about Get a Lift, community service. Talk to me about that. So
in the 80s, my father started a corporation called Get a Lift Community Services, in which he was a connector. It was an arm of our church, an arm of ministry, but to really focus on the community needs. A few years ago, I changed the name of it to Elevated Community Development Corporation. Okay. And we service and mentor youth. We're big in the financial improvement and development and empowerment of inner city minorities. We developed a music program, which at some point I got to get you out here, show these young kids how to play that piano. But we built a studio here, and I'm just excited about ways to give back, and it's doing work in the community. You get the essence of God's love because it's me and my team. We love God. So, but it's not just designed for those that attend church. This is for those that live within the surrounding areas in Lynwood and where our church is at. So I'm honored to lead that initiative and help with the programs along with my wonderful executive director. You know, I think it's about giving back. If we ain't giving back, we ain't doing nothing. So we all got to give back. So that's what it is.
That's the purpose of the show. But, you know, this is a question that I couldn't wait to ask, because I knew you were a stand-up guy. I knew that you were an incredible musician. I never knew you preached. I never knew that the pastor thing, and I mean, it's not that I didn't know that you didn't have that kind of heart, because you're a leader.
Right.
A pastor's a leader, period. But when did you accept that call, and how did you know?
Well, that's very interesting, Joe. I always knew I had a heart for people. You know what I'm saying? That was just a natural thing. I didn't know in what way that would be exposed or used in life. But I accepted the call to the ministry in 2004. So I want to say, I don't know if it's before, after around the time we worked on that album in New Orleans years ago. But even when we were doing all of the award shows, I was in ministry, but I didn't really promote it. I just did the work. I think some people are more into promoting than they are doing the work. I just did the work, and then once people see, it is what it is. And so around 2010, my father was like, you know, I'm thinking about retiring. I was like, cool. I wasn't thinking that I was going, it was, you know, I wasn't even considering myself as one of those that would step into the pastorate. Although I knew there was a call on my life for even more. Maybe I was just in denial, didn't want to accept it. But I told him, I said, listen, if that's what the Lord says, then I'll rock with it. But don't be trying to do no hereditary, I'm passing it down to my son type of thing, because that don't always work. We know situations when that's the worst, you know what I'm saying? And so 2012, he installed me as the pastor, and then ironically 40 days after that, he unexpectedly passed. So, but I've been doing it now for 8.5 years, just leading the people in this area. And I think I know God is blessing us, and I think we're doing a great thing, man. So, you know, again, I'm just regular old Nisan. I don't, you know, the titles and all the pomp and circumstance that come with it, I'm not really into all of that. So, you know, you don't find me out there like some, but I love God's people. I love doing the work, man.
And I ask you that for a reason, because it's a lot of people that go, and as you know, from the instrument to the pulpit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how do you recognize that call? And that's a question that a lot of musicians have not gotten a clear answer on. It's evident because of what you see. There's not a lot of Edgar Vans around. You know, that is just in them, and they're successful pastors. A lot of people, they got the call and it was a three-way. I'm going to lose a lot of friends, but I mean, it just is what it is. How do you know? And I mean, of course, you can recognize through work.
Yes.
But if somebody's sitting meditating and they're saying, I'm really wondering, how do I know that call? And not because I'm supposed to.
Yes. Well, let me jump in. The call to ministry is not always a call to the pulpit. That's the first thing that most guys should know, because see, they look at, it's easy as a musician for those that do that they're preaching, they have great, you know, oral skills, to jump from the keys or from the drum to the bass or guitar to the pulpit. I think the first thing is really taking your time and hearing the voice of God. And I think you hear the voice of God. Now, it's not always through your ear. I think it's in some things you'll even see on your journey, or some things that he'll allow to happen. And I think if a person is patient enough, they'll hear the authentic and the true and only voice of God, to know that this is for me. Because many people have said they heard the voice of God, and like my mother used to say, that's that chili you ate last night. That wasn't the voice of God. You know what I'm saying? So I think you take your time. You want to be certain.
Right.
Be certain. But I think it's just anyone with a relationship with God, whether it's someone that's called to the pastor or not, you know what it is. But it can't be just about your personal ambition. You have to fall back and let God begin to show you and reveal it to you. And he'll do that. He'll do it his way, in his time. And that way, you rather do it that way. You know, it's kind of like if we would have listened to our parents when we were young on some things, we wouldn't have gone through all the extra trouble we went through. I think the same way, if we listen to the voice of the Lord and just be patient and let him reveal it to us, then in timing, the steps will be right. And as the scripture says, the steps will be ordered. You know what I'm saying?
And I truly believe that, because most of the profound things that happened in my life I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't looking for it. And then it was this one day I got a phone call to do Celebration of Gospel. And then they said, and guess who's on drums? I said, who? He said, Nisan Stewart. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Well, that was the same when they said Joe Britton, the legend, is coming in here. I'm like, oh, Jesus. But that was some great time. We had some great memories doing that, right?
Oh, man. Just unbelievable. And then our good friends like Bernard Bell and singing and working with all of these giants in music, and then still seeing things go on beyond music. And you said a mouthful when you said you got to know a call and the purpose of the call. If you don't know the purpose of the call, and I knew I wasn't a preacher because that's just not me. And I'm not going to say why, but I knew that wasn't, but I knew I love people and I love God and I like the ministry of music and I like the ministry of what I do. And to help people get to the next level. That's the purpose even of the show. So, man, I really, really, really appreciate you being with us and sharing these nuggets that you shared with the world today. And anytime we can help you and whenever you want me to come out, I'm there for you. You know that. And we have a kinship that will never end in years that go back. So anything you want to tell in closing, man, anything you want anybody to know, anything you want to say, the stage is yours. I open it.
Well, I can say this, because I'm like to your statement, even about you and what you were called to and how you even went on your journey. For me, I'm not a preacher's preacher. I'm not, there's an art to preaching that fits within our, you could say within our culture, but even beyond that, there's an art to just even sitting up in front of people, whether it's 10 people or 10,000. To speak. I'm the guy that was nervous. I'm like, I could talk. We can sit around and play dominoes and watch basketball, football. I could talk all day. But to when I got up in front of the people, it's like, you have the stammer, you're scared. But God, I think I had to become confident in who God called me to be and how powerful he was going to use, how powerful my voice was that's led by him, and I have to be okay with it. So my in closing, I just want to say, you don't have to be like nobody else. I think that there's enough space. I think God was very strategic when he created each and every one of us different. And just like he created me different. And I don't apologize about it one bit. Those that may be listening, when there's a call on your life, don't worry about trying to be like somebody else. Be the best you that you can be. Don't worry about the accolades that may or may not come from man, because his reward is far superior and greater than anything that any man or woman can ever give us. So just be confident in who you are. And if you need some help on that journey, holla at your boy. Holla at me. I'll do whatever I can to help, So it's a thing, man, that you have to love it. When you love God's word, you're going to be all good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nisan Stewart.
Man,
thank you so much, Pastor Stewart, for being here. Thank you for joining the Artist Hotspot. Listen, next week, we're going to be right back here, same time, same place. I got Donald Harrison, jazz saxophone player. He's going to be our guest. You do not want to miss this. He's incredible. See you next week.